Wow, it's coming to an end. This is screencast number 3, Dan. Wanted to respond to the prompt about being a pragmatic dreamer. Huh. Um, yeah, we all know that radical change is possible. True. Totally possible. I think society just needs the dreamers, the risk takers, supporters of change, and a willingness to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I like that term, and I first heard it maybe about 10 years ago when I started doing triathlons. My wife and I decided to get off the couch and get fit, and we signed up and learned through various coaches that, come race day, you are really pushing your body close to its limits. And the training that we did was to become comfortable with being in that state where you just want to stop and your body wants to shut down, or your legs feel like cement, and you think you can't go on, but you just embrace that and kind of move forward and rise up to the challenge. So I think that's true with anything in life, that if you want to get good at, you've got to practice and try again, and know that you're going to fail, and know that incrementally you're going to get stronger and faster or smarter, or be able to do whatever you set out to do. I know realistically I'm not going to be an astronaut any day soon, and that's probably out of the scope of my influence, but I know that there's plenty of other cool stuff that I can do, like taking a master's degree program and maybe becoming a teacher one day. So I think if we can inspire that in other people, it's a pretty cool thing. As far as putting together a realistic plan that I might be able to implement in the coming years, I think I've got a couple of ideas down here. I'll answer that a little later. How can you embody the innovator's mindset? Well, I'm looking at the graphic in the Innovator's Mindset book, which was very interesting and a very easy read, and it was interesting to see references to different schools in Canada, particularly the Surrey School Board, or Surrey School District, I should say. I grew up in Coquitlam, which is District 43, and Surrey was just like a 15 or 20 minute drive away, so it was kind of cool to see these different references and things spelled correctly, like with 2 L's and O-U-R and that kind of stuff. Anyways, I digress. Looking at the graphic, choice, time for reflection. Sure, kids need to be encouraged to look inwards and understand how a lesson impacts them internally or intrinsically and that kind of stuff. I don't know. That sounds a little wishy-washy to me. I don't know how many kids or students are going to embrace that sort of thing, but certainly giving them the time to think about that kind of stuff is good. Opportunities for innovation, critical thinkers, all great things that you really got to embrace. And I'm all about teaching kids how to think critically and think for themselves and be able to see things from different points of views. As much as I question the present government and the direction that the president is taking and the overwhelming support for him, given his inflammatory rhetoric, I have to try and put myself in the shoes of people that do support him and understand their points of view and why they support him. And so it's not all bad, is what I'm basically trying to say. So I think that's a good thing to teach kids or students. Self-assessment and connected learning, all great ideas. Self-assessment, I don't know, like half the people out there I think are going to care. The other half are going to be like, I just want to get through this, whatever, and not really embody that. So I think that's a tough hurdle to try and get over. My moonshot idea, well, before I get into that, when I just clicked on the video, I knew immediately what it was. I'm the kind of guy at work where I'll sit at my desk and eat my lunch, and I look at npr.org, read the news, and then I go to nasa.gov and look at what's new there. So I knew immediately that was the slow-mo of a rocket engine. And one cool thing that I like watching is this Apollo 11 Saturn V launch camera E8 that's shot at 500 frames per second, and it just shows this flame, this giant flame erupting from this engine, and I think it's just the coolest stuff. And so I'm all over science and space. And when I was, 10 years old, I was clipping newspaper articles from the Viking lander, all their research that they were doing and the images that were being sent back from Mars. I just thought that was the coolest stuff. So it's funny when you said moonshot, I kind of completely embraced that. I recognized a lot of the stuff, the Enigma machine, people taking an innovative idea and an early kind of calculator, like a mechanical calculator to solve this cryptography problem was just ingenious. Telescopes, the Hubble, amazing, the discoveries. People having the curiosity and courage. These are all things that I think are important to instill in others. Risk-taking. Large Hadron Collider. I mean, how cool is that? That is just, scientists trying to understand the building blocks of the universe. It is incredibly crazy and interesting. And the Hubble, the images that come out of that's got to inspire so many people. And the repair trips that were taken to refit or overhaul the Space Telescope on multiple times. The Spicer telescope that's going up, that's going to be even more freaking amazing. Computers, I started with a TRS-80 Apple II Plus years ago, and that just piqued my interest. So Kennedy, his speeches, having audacious ideas, finding your passion in you are unstoppable. I think that's certainly true, and that I see that in some people. And somebody told me years ago, don't just have a job, find your vocation, find what your passion is in life, and hopefully you can get paid for doing it. And I think if people in this world had jobs that were their passions, I think everybody would be happy. For a lot of the people, it's just making ends meet and bringing home the bacon and that kind of stuff. So I think if we can inspire kids to follow their passions in life, we're going to be off to a great start. We're going to have and the world needs crazy people. That's certainly true. People that have these wild, audacious ideas. Like Elon Musk is somebody that came to mind right away. Like, man, that guy is just changing the world we live in, I think. Another quote from that YouTube video, the moonshot, was like, we may not know how to do something today, but be assured that maybe someday tomorrow we will. So that's pretty cool. The moonshot idea. Here we go. Being Canadian, I'm fortunate to be in this country. I'm a naturalized citizen. I don't try not to rock the boat. I'm very fortunate to live here, but I see a big moonshot idea would be getting rid of guns in this country. I see nothing but bad things that come with guns. I understand that there are sportsmen that have them, and peace officers and all that kind of stuff, and people that have guns that use them responsibly are, great, that's fine. But I think there are far, far, far too many guns in this country and in the wrong hands. So, recently with the school shootings, you saw groups of students rise up and try and make a difference and challenge government to make some changes. Unfortunately, there's a lot of strong counter arguments out there, or people that are unwilling to give up that, the Second Amendment right to bear arms. I think for the times when the Constitution was written, maybe that was relevant, but I don't see how it is so relevant nowadays. I mean, I look at model countries like Australia and Canada. Sure, there's certainly guns there and bad people that do bad stuff, but not thousands of people every year, killed indiscriminately, harmless or innocent victims of gun violence. It's crazy. So that's my moonshot idea. If we could somehow teach a generation of kids and students to rise up and work against guns and gun violence, then I think that society would be a better place. Okay, next point. really transforming your classroom is an ongoing gradual process. Certainly true. I don't actually have a classroom yet, but if I did, I'm probably going to be teaching adult night school classes in community college or university. So when it comes to implementing things in my classroom, things 2 or 3 years out, I guess it's getting tapped into a professional learning network. That's one thing that I'd certainly have to pursue, because I don't have the background and experience. So I really got to draw on mentors to help me hone good habits in class. And I have no idea what it would take to control a classroom. I'm assuming adults would be responsible, but anywhere from K through 12, I don't know. That would be a nightmare. I don't know how teachers do it today. Also, I'd have to get on some websites or feeds, where teachers regularly exchange ideas. And of course, the last part is just constantly being tapped into research tools and technology and pedagogy, and looking at research, educational research, and just staying current. So lastly, I would just like to say, hey, thanks very much. It's been an interesting class, breakneck pace, working full-time at a regular 40-hour technology job, plus trying to do all these classes. It has been quite a challenge, but I've really learned a lot. It's opened my eyes. It's given me a new perspective, and I've learned a lot of things that I can certainly implement in my workplace right away going forward. So thank you so much, and talk to you again. Bye for now.